Japan makes great horror movies. They also make a lot of silly ones. In this special video, we're going to take a look at a bunch of Japanese horror movies that have the words "of the dead" in their title. We're only going to look at feature-length movies, but I do have a cute short film to introduce you to at the end of the video, as well as exploring some non-horror movies that also use the "of the dead" in their title. Hi, I'm the Artie Dans from Asian Film Fans, and welcome to this video. Please enjoy this crazy look at a bunch of horror movies you might not have ever heard of. And if you like this video, please consider subscribing to see more videos like this in the future. Now let's start with an easy one. One Cut of the Dead, made back in 2017, is now considered to be a worldwide smash hit, and could be the most well-known title on this list. If you don't know what this movie's about, then I think you might have been living under a rock. A Z-grade movie director is filming a zombie movie at an abandoned war facility when real zombies start attacking his cast and crew. In a nod to the Japanese craze of shooting movies with long takes, this movie starts with an incredible 37-minute one. The rest of the movie is made up of a kind of behind-the-scenes making of, as we follow the director and the cast as they prepare for the shooting of the movie. As with everything awesome from Japan, there's a rumor of a Hollywood remake, and if that's your kind of thing, well, great. But in the meantime, there have been two spin-offs of the series, including the 2019 hour-long feature, One Cut of the Dead spin-off in Hollywood, and a very clever 2020 short movie, One Cut of the Dead Mission Remote, which reunites the cast and crew via video chat to help the director create a short film during lockdown. How very 2020. Starring the beautiful Amy Tomite from Sion Sono's masterpiece Anti-Porno and Tag, this 2019 movie bills itself as original as Texas Chainsaw Massacre, as innovative as The Evil Dead, and as fresh as One Cut of the Dead. Now that's a huge claim. This horror comedy has all the craziness you demand from Japanese cinema. Chainsaws, gore, zombies, and otakus are in full force in this straight-to-DVD and digital movie. Amy Tomite stars as Yuka, the girl who loses her phone, which is found by a trio of nerdy, horny guys. They try to return the phone to her, but they aren't prepared for the situation they're about to find themselves in. If you've got a Netflix account and have the ability to point it to the Japanese region, rumor has it you can find this movie there. What happens when you mix samurais and zombies? Well, you get Samurai of the Dead. This 2014 comedy horror movie, starring, written, and directed by Kazushi Watanabe from the acclaimed movie Visitor Q. The shogunate of the Tokugawa clan assembles a ruthless squad of assassins to defend his crumbling empire in Kyoto. A strong gang of men who would cut down enemies with ease, but in this case, the enemies are now the undead. Can they survive the onslaught and defend the shogunate? This flick is available on DVD and Blu-ray, and if you get the chance, check out the movie's insane website. Another comedy horror movie starring yet another beautiful Japanese actress, this time one of my favourites in Asami, is this 2014 title called Hunger of the Dead, also known as Hunger Z. This wacky-looking horror flick is set in the future where zombies realise that their main food source, human brains, is running scarce. So they do what anyone, alive or dead, would do in this situation. They create a human breeding farm to ensure a steady food supply. It's so crazy and insane, you can't make this up. A young man, desperate to escape the zombie horde, finds the idyllic safe house full of other survivors and plenty of food. Only, he later discovers the true intentions of the safe house once he falls in love with Mitsui. How could you not want to watch something like this? Speaking of Asami and comedy horrors, this hilarious zombie film could be as weird as it gets. Zombie Ass Toilet of the Dead is a 2011 splatfest from famed schlock director Noboru Iguchi. In this movie, zombies rise from the septic tank to, well, I don't really know. The zombies are more of a secondary element to this movie, which revolves around a schoolgirl and her friends who search for a trout with a tapeworm as a diuretic, only to discover it causes an extreme bout of flatulence, and a visit to the outhouse awakes the zombie horde. Full of rubber parasites and a farting jetpack, I would recommend this movie for the ridiculous premise alone, with Asami being relegated to a cameo role as one of the zombies. I've done a full review of this movie. If you'd like to know more, you can click the card link above or the link in the description to check it out. And going for a three-peat of Asami horror movies is this rather graphic, and at times explicit, series of post-apocalyptic low-budget zombie films. There is an incredible 5 titles in this series, spanning just 3 years of production from 2012 to 2014, with the same director and most of the same cast across all films. The full title of this series is maybe something I can't say on YouTube, being the 4-letter R word, but this series tells the tale of a band of female survivors who must protect themselves from the male zombies who only have one thing on their mind, which is the same thing they would have had on their mind if they weren't zombies, and it's not brains. A nuclear bomb has devastated Tokyo, turning all the men into sex-crazed zombies. As the women fight to survive and not be attacked, they form groups of scientists to discover a cure and an army to fight them. In 2017, a spin-off called Hardcore of the Dead from the original director was released, and it's probably best for everyone that I don't go into too much detail about this one. Only watch these ones if you can stomach it, because high production values are very much absent from this series. This series of movies is probably considered more adult in nature, but are still horror movies that bear the "of the dead" suffix. The first movie revolves around a busty maid who dies in a traffic accident but ends up reviving as a zombie and sets off attacking researchers at the hospital one after another. Since this is an adult movie, I'm not too sure how she attacks them, but I could just imagine. In the sequel, another girl with a large chest enters an abandoned hospital and, well, how about we move on to the next title? Sticking with the, romantic theme, Love Zombie Romance of the Dead is a 2015 comedy horror much in the same vein as Lust of the Dead, and shares quite a few more similarities with the same writer and director, as well as a few of the cast members. Another comedy horror full of sex, nudity, and dodgy effects. This one just seems a little batshit insane. A high school boy with a crush on the most popular girl in school finds himself in a situation where he loses his virginity to her. Wanting to continue their trysts, he goes to her home only to find out that she's been infected with the zombie virus and has developed an insatiable appetite for human flesh. While it doesn't sound like it's bringing anything new to the genre, this movie definitely has the "only in Japan" moniker slapped all over it. Well, here's something different, and it's technically not a horror film. This is The Book of the Dead, a 2015 stop-motion animated award-winning feature-length movie. A young woman from a noble house becomes obsessed with Buddhism and spends her time learning as much as she can about it. She then begins to see a figure that looks like Buddha in the distance, and one day tries to find it, but ends up at a temple where women are forbidden from entry. She eventually forms a bond with the figure, which happens to be the spirit of an executed prince. This movie is available on DVD in the USA, and received an award at the 2015 Japan Media Arts Festival. Heading back into the exploitation genre of horror movies, this one has no comedy elements, rather relying on the dark and moody scenario of a woman being taken advantage of. Hidden Attack of the Dead is a 2018 horror thriller about a young woman named Kimmy, who is burdened with debt after borrowing money from a loan shark to pay for her father's medical bills. Kimmy decides she will take up a modelling job for some easy money, but the studio is run by a weird religious cult who attack her and force her to recruit men. But something is haunting the building where the cult is located, and a violent group of ghosts start attacking the men and go after Kimmy. Can Kimmy escape? This movie swaps zombies for ghosts, but still retains the typical Japanese low-budget vibes. And it wouldn't be a Japanese movie list without one of them being set in a high school. Billed as more of a thriller than a horror flick, and definitely devoid of any zombies, comes this 2000 movie called Schoolday of the Dead. A group of students decide to stage and perform a play written by a classmate who committed suicide. The play tells the tale of an urban legend about 2 teachers at the school embroiled in an illicit love affair. As the students start to delve more and more into the urban legend and the girl who committed suicide, strange, unexplainable accidents occur and these girls end up dead. User reviews and scores on this film aren't too positive, which is a shame as the decent cast and interesting storyline lend itself to at least a movie worth the watch. Have you seen this one? And as a little bonus is this cute 2016 animation called Zonmi-Chan, Meat Pie of the Dead. A fantastic mix of computer animation brings this 6-minute short movie to life, which can be found for full on YouTube, a link in the description. Zonmi-Chan is a clumsy and cute girl who just happens to be a zombie living under the cemetery with her 2 sisters. One day, she decides she wants to make some meat pies, but realizes she's out of fresh meat. So she tasks her younger sister to head up to the surface to get some. But while she's there, she runs into the young man who's madly in love with Zonmi-Chan, and through an accident, he's about to become the meat in her pies. Watch this for a laugh. It's nice and short and a change from some of the extreme titles on this list. I hope you enjoyed this look at Japanese movies with the "of the dead" suffix in the title. While I've tried to be as thorough as I could, was there any titles that I missed? Likewise, have you seen any of these and what did you think of them? Leave me a comment below and I will get back to you. Otherwise, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.